League believes there is a group perpetuating disruptions to the regional conferences to highlight the challenges that the embattled province of KZN are currently facing. Let's cross now to SABC News reporter Ayanda Mhlongo, who joins us from the Emalahleni region. A very good morning to you, Ayanda. Thank you so much for joining us. So we understand that a conference is currently taking place. We can see the regalia-clad women behind you there. What are some of the issues that will be discussed today?
A very good morning to you, Alicia, and a good morning to our viewers at home. Absolutely, today 4 regional conferences will be taking place here in KwaZulu-Natal. We are in Newcastle, where this is the Emalahleni region. Their conference is set, as you just said there, Alicia. The branch members who are delegates at this conference have started arriving, and it is expected to get underway shortly. But of course, also today, Alicia, is the regions of the far north, Nkosi Bambata, as well as the Musadladla region in Impangeni. Those are the regions today that will be holding their regional conferences in preparation for the provincial conference, which we understood is expected to possibly take place at the end of May. But of course, Alicia, the events taking place last night, overshadowing today's events, the killings that took place. You'd know that it was quite a really shocking news that many people of KwaZulu-Natal and South Africa woke up to this morning. Firstly, that killing of an IFP youth leader and also PR councillor in Ulundi, Sibuyiselo Dlamini, who was gunned down on the R66. It was just moments later after we'd heard that we then heard the news of Musa Mchunu in Pietermaritzburg, who had also been attacked and sadly died a few hours later in hospital. And then, of course, Alicia, there was the incident of the deputy president of the National Teachers Union, Mr. Alan Thompson, who was also attacked, but he is in hospital as we speak. Shocking incidents that took place yesterday. But of course, I think the focus is going to be today on the ANC, on the ANC's conferences. It has been said, as you alluded to there earlier on, that there were challenges that had been raised by some branches in KwaZulu-Natal and regions who have continuously said that they feel that the province was not ready for these regional conferences to sit because of processes at BGMs in preparation for the regional conferences, citing issues of gatekeeping and manipulation. Parallel structures are said to have been formed, and saying that the province was not ready for the regional conferences, and more especially for a provincial conference, and that the ANC needed to sort out these issues before they can proceed. That the situation as well with regards to these attacks and the political killings, you'd note, Alicia, that the killing of Mchunu, he's now the third ANC member or leader to have been killed in just 2 weeks. Sfiso Cele down in Mfumo in the South Coast just killed last week, and before that a member of the ANC in one of the wards there, Nombuso Mkati, also gunned down at her home. And they're bringing to light these incidents, saying that it clearly shows that the ANC cannot proceed with these regional conferences. But we are here, Alicia, the NEC of the ANC, the NWC of the ANC has said that the conferences are going to go ahead, as today the 4 regions are holding their conferences. But let me now bring in the convener of the provincial task team in KwaZulu-Natal, Mr. Mike Mabiakhulu. Mr. Mabiakhulu, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Firstly, very shocking events that took place yesterday. Just to get your reaction first to these killings.
Good morning to you, Ayanda, and to the viewers all over the Republic of South Africa. Well, first and foremost, we would like to express our deepest condolences as the African National Congress to the Mchunu family for losing one of their loved ones, and for us as the African National Congress for losing a very dedicated cadre and someone who spoke out his mind on the issues, but someone who respected the ANC and the values of the ANC. At the same time, we are also passing our condolences to the Dlamini family, who was a member of the IFP, who also unfortunately got to be killed yesterday. And our sympathies goes to that family as well. And we also wish the Deputy Chairperson of NATO a speedy recovery, and that we hope that he will survive his gunshot wounds.
Just speaking about this incident, and ANC members are now saying some have been concerned about the province of not being conducive for these regional conferences to sit. They are going ahead, 4 are going ahead in various parts of this province, despite what is taking place.
Well, first and foremost, before I answer that question, let me say, as the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal, we are deeply shocked by the incident of the unfortunate demise of Comrade Maqatha Mchunu, who was known as Musa Wenkosi Mchunu. As the ANC, we are an organization that believes in democracy. We allow our members to express their views without fear or favor, and we also expect anyone who expresses his views and to do so within the ANC, and also to be able not to undergo and to experience the kind of things that have happened. Yes, we don't know the motive of his killing, but we must say that as the ANC, when we dealt with the issue of the regional conferences and the preparations thereof, the national leadership came here. They were able to meet with the structures of the African National Congress in all of the regions. They made their own assessment over and above our assessment as a provincial task team. After having taken a due consideration of the matters, they then decided that there were regions where they did not find any difficulties in allowing those regions to go ahead with their conferences, and hence that those regions are now going ahead with those conferences. However, they did identify that certain regions needed to be able to deal with certain matters before they proceed with their conferences. As a provincial task team, we are attending to those issues. And it's unfortunate that in the case of Moses Mabhida in particular, just last week, Monday, as a provincial task team, we had convened a meeting with 6 comrades who were led by Comrade Mchunu, Musa Wenkosi Mchunu from Moses Mabhida, together with the regional leadership there, and whom myself and the provincial coordinator met at the provincial office. And we're due this coming Sunday, tomorrow, to go and meet with all of the branches of the ANC, together with the concerned members coming from those branches, with an intention of dealing with the issues that comrades are very unhappy about, and see how we can all work together, because we cannot build an ANC based on the basis of division. And we are very clear that we are trying to forge meaningful unity among the structures and the members of the African National Congress.
In light of what has happened now, Mr. Mabiakulu, do you think that the conferences of Lower South Coast, of Moses Mabhida, of Herigwal, another problematic region for yourself, can continue now?
Well, I must say that we really would like, as the ANC provincial task team, be able to sit and be able to consider all these matters. But as I said, already the National Working Committee had given us a guidance that we should deal with specific matters, which we were attending to those specific matters. Now, I think I wouldn't like to preempt those processes that we are embarking upon. But what we think we must say without mincing our words is that there is no space for anyone to kill any comrade. Anybody who uses a gun against his own comrade, if it is internally, that person is a criminal. But if comrades are being killed by somebody who come from outside, but those criminals equally too must be apprehended, and they must face the full might of the law. And we think we would like to ask our comrades, painful as it is, to remain calm and to be able to actually rely on the rule of law. We are actually getting reports that indeed investigations are progressing quite very well in the case of Comrade Sfiso Cele, who's being laid to rest today in Oshabeni in the Lower South Coast, and we are hoping that the perpetrators of that heinous crime will be brought to book. Similarly, we are expecting that the police would actually had speed in finding the perpetrators who killed Comrade Mchunu and also bring them to book. And therefore, we're hoping that by so doing, all of us must work within the rule of law, and there is nobody who has a right to kill any comrade or to kill anyone.
Mr. Mabuyakhulu, the issue of factions that emerged from the NASREC conference, afterwards you've been saying as the ANC leaders that you're working on unity, you are working on mending the differences that emerged from during that time. But we are still again seeing sides of people being labelled as those on the faction of the president and those on faction of Zuma, still in KwaZulu-Natal. Are you being able to bring these people together? How are you dealing with factions?
Well, we must say that we must work for unity. Unity is not an event. Unity is a process that must actually culminate into all of us accepting one another. And it is important that we do not cease to be focused on the agenda of unifying the African National Congress. But our message is very clear to the ANC supporters and ANC members in this province. The conference of NASREC has come and gone. And therefore we now have the leadership. And that leadership is the collective leadership led by our president, Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa. It includes Comrade Didi Mabuza as our deputy president, Comrade Esma Khashule as our secretary general, and Comrade Gwede Mantashe as our national chairperson, JC Duarte as our deputy secretary general, and Paul Mashatile as our treasurer general. And the entire NEC, that is the collective that all of us must rally behind. And there should be nobody at this point in time who is actually still going what our views were leading to NASREC. We have come from NASREC. We now have left the NASREC issues and our views behind. We now have the ANC leadership that all of us must rally behind that leadership.
Before I let you go here, Emalahleni region, it was the only one that was disbanded by the former provincial executive committee of the ANC. You've been working on stabilizing this region, working on branches in this region in preparation for the conference. At the moment, what is the situation like? Have you been able to deal with some of the challenges that members of the ANC in this region were dealing with?
Well, I must say that the reports we have been getting from the provincial task team that was deployed here to help the region, to unify the region, and to ensure that comrades are able to work with one another and to build unity of purpose amongst comrades. That committee that has actually been preparing for this conference has done an exceptional good job. We are now here at a stage where we can stage a conference. And I have no illusion that our conference here is first and foremost going to become a peaceful one in Emalahleni because of the work that has been done. But secondly, we would actually be ensuring that building from here going forward, all of us would have learned on issues that we need to avoid going forward as the African National Congress. So I'm happy about the work, the level of work that has been done, and we hope that the conference will be a very peaceful and calm conference.
Mr. Mabuyakhulu, thank you so much for your time there. The convener of the provincial task team in KwaZulu-Natal, Mr. Mike Mabuyakhulu. Here in Emalahleni, Alicia is saying is hopeful that this conference will go ahead without any disruptions. But of course, a major concern now is on these political killings that seem to continue in this province unabated. We are here on the ground, Alicia. We continue to be giving you the coverage of this Emalahleni conference, and of course we'll be following up on what is going to be happening in the other 3 regions across KwaZulu-Natal that are also holding their conferences this morning.
Ayanda, before you go, look, Mr. Mabuya is speaking of a very important factor here, unity, but we've heard there's been allegations that these political killings, particularly in that province, are actually targeting Ramaphosa's people. Speak to us about that. What have you heard on the ground? What are some of the rumors that are making rounds there?
Alicia, you know that in a situation like this where the ANC is fragile, in particular in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, that there would be many rumors that are circulating with regards to the motive and who may be behind these killings, and also just looking at these members or leaders that are being killed. The only thing that we can say is that, Alicia, one, as Mr. Mabuyakhulu was saying, that the police investigations will be able to shed light on possibly what could be the motive of these killings. At the moment, it's basically assumption that they are politically related because these are political leaders. These are leaders that have been, in some instances, very vocal on issues. And like you were saying with regards to Musa Mkhunu, yes, was outspoken. He was known to be a very staunch supporter of the President Cyril Ramaphosa and the build-up to the NASREC conference. But afterwards, now he's been about those branches that have been mainly raising their issues about the preparations for the regional conferences and saying that the processes within the ANC were not running smoothly, complaining of gatekeeping and manipulation. And these are the issues. So he's really been vocal insofar as the challenges, particularly in KwaZulu-Natal and those problems. But in terms of, Alicia, for us to say, we'd be speculating if we had to say that these are targeted attacks against those that supported before the NASREC conference President Cyril Ramaphosa, or those that may have supported Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma during her campaign for presidency. We'll have to leave it up to the police to find the motive. And of course, the ANC has also a committee, Alicia. Remember that we spoke about it months before. A committee that also is trying to investigate internally the causes of these killings, Alicia.
Ayanda, thank you so much for that sound update. That is our reporter there from the Emalahleni region, Ayanda Mhlongo. She is coming to us live from the ANC's regional conference that is expected to take place there.